Enter. Hi, guys. I hope you can hear me now. Let me know that you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Let me try the video clip one more time. I wonder if that had something to do with it. If not, I'll just post the video and we'll call it a day. No, that's not working. So let me just post a picture of her. There you go. What a beauty. Yes. All right, guys. Can you hear me loud and clear? Yay! Gotta do the dance. All right. Talking about mental health, right? It is okay to act silly. It is okay to be different. It's okay to act different. It's okay to go in the room and feel uncomfortable and want to sit in a corner of a sofa, and that is you. It's okay to be loud and obnoxious. All of it is okay. Just deal with your mental health. So I'm going to play this. It'll be the audio, however, but it's all good. I just want you guys to understand.
What we're talking about here is the apparent suicide of former Miss USA Cheslie Kryst. She had so much the eyes of a lot of people who watched her on television, from the pageant to her work on Extra. It seemed like she had so much going on. We're going to have a conversation with Dr. Ashton, and also joined by our friend psychiatrist Dr. Janet Taylor for a conversation about suicide in a moment. But up first here, ABC's Lindsay Davis.
North Carolina. This morning, immense shock and sorrow after the death of former Miss USA Cheslie Kryst, the 30-year-old apparently dying by suicide. Her devastated family writing in a statement, her great light was one that inspired others around the world with her beauty and strength. She cared, she loved, she laughed, and she shined. Just hours before her death, this photo was posted to Kryst's Instagram with the caption, "May this day bring you rest and peace." Kryst, a highly accomplished attorney with a master's in business from Wake Forest University, represented North Carolina at the Miss USA pageant, crowned with the top title in 2019.
Maya is the first generation to have that forward-looking mindset that has inclusivity, diversity, and strength and empowered women.
She appeared on GMA to celebrate a historic win for Black women in the top 4 pageants that year.
I think there are times where I am disappointed because people will sometimes comment on our social media and will say, "Why are we talking about your race? Like, you guys are just 4 amazing women." I'm like, but there was a time when we literally could not win.
She then competed in the Miss Universe competition, placing in the top 10, and went on to be a correspondent on Extra, the entertainment show, issuing a statement saying, "Our hearts are broken. Cheslie was not just a vital part of our show, she was a beloved part of our Extra family and touched the entire staff. Our deepest condolences to all of her family and friends." Cheslie Kryst was 30 years old.
Thanks to our Lindsay Davis there. And again, let me chat with our Dr. Ashton here and psychiatrist Dr. Janet Taylor. Dr. Taylor, thank you for being here. And what do you make of, and are we talking about it sometimes the wrong way when we say, "Oh, she seemed to have so much going for her. Oh, she seemed so happy." You know, like, what do you make of that being a part of these conversations so often?
Well, so often what we do is to try to gauge how people are doing, and we look at the outside, what we see. But the reality is, unless someone tells you or unless you see specific signs, we really don't know what people are struggling with and what their own personal demons are. So it's really a time to inquire about, how are you? And not only that, be prepared to listen when people may say they are feeling a dark way or feeling depressed, and have resources at hand. But there's no question that, she's only 30, and it's a tragedy, but a reminder that your brain is in your body. And if you are suffering from any mental health condition, help is always there, but we need to speak out and certainly lose the stigma around getting help for our mental health.
And Dr. Ashton, what do we do with that? Dr. Taylor, so you ask somebody, how are you? And oftentimes people are programmed to give you the wrong answer, not give you an accurate answer. What are we supposed to be looking for in friends and family?
Well, first, I think if you've lost someone to suicide,
don't blame yourself.
And you've been very open about
I
this.
have. I lost my ex-husband and my children's father to suicide coming up in a couple of weeks on 5 years. No one blamed themselves more than I did as a doctor, married to someone for 22 years. I didn't see the classic signs because he had other signs. So there aren't always obvious glaring signs, but there can be some categories that, again, if you get a gut feeling that something's wrong, either in someone's behavior, in their mood, or what they're saying, trust your instincts. So in terms of behavior, there was a recent study that found that people who went on to take their lives or attempt suicide gave away possessions, gave away their pets in the days or weeks before their suicide or suicide attempt. People talking about having no hope, feeling trapped, feeling helpless, being a burden to others, being withdrawn socially or at work, any change in that behavior. Ask them, you say, what should we do? Dr. Taylor and I are taught in medical school to overtly ask someone, are you thinking of self-harm or contemplating suicide? You're not going to put that idea in their head. And if they tell you yes, take it seriously. It is no different than a heart attack. Get them medical help, even if it means bringing them to an emergency room.
But we talk here, Dr. Ashton, so often of what you have to do after. You talk about life after. I think the exact title of your book, Life After Suicide.
Right.
Isn't it?
My children and I wanted to share our story to try to help others. And it's not just our story, it's the story of over a dozen other survivors of suicide. As Janet said, and you said with the statistics, it's estimated that for every person who dies by suicide, 135 other lives are directly affected. So we wanted to share what we learned with professional help and from others in terms of our healing, and to try to put those pieces back together again. But there is hope, there is healing, there is recovery. We try to live in a way that honors Rob's spirit every day. But this is something that we all need to get on board and fight it together.
All right, and folks, we want you to know, if you are struggling with thoughts of suicide, worried about a friend or a loved one, there is help available. You can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 273-8255. Or you can text TALK to 741-741 for free confidential emotional support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Dr. Taylor, thank you so much, as always, for being here and being a friend of our show on these important topics. Dr. Ashton, always appreciate you being very honest and open.
All right, guys. Let's have a conversation about the possibility that this was suicide. Unless you literally hear something different, let's focus that this was, for all intents and purposes, a true and true suicide. All right? Because I want to focus on mental health today, not on any other possibility unless something comes up. Mental health is becoming a huge, huge spotlight, particularly on the African American community. So, what we need are a list of I have one. Oh no, I should have talked to her. It's okay, I'll bring her on. What we need is places to go, either social media, Facebook. I do have someone, oh my goodness, I wasn't thinking, I'm so sorry, where we can discuss like freely without the stigma attached to it, how it feels to be depressed, how it feels not to get over someone, right? How sometimes drinking and driving is a form of suicide, right? How nobody wants to deal with anybody who has constant depressed tendencies, especially if you're a family member and you've seen this all your life, and yet every moment matters. Like, does it really matter if this is something you've seen out of someone? Like, each time, let's deal with it. Because particularly in the Black community, it's not like we get help early on when we're 10, 11, 12. Sometimes mental health needs to be acknowledged that early. Most of us are born with mental health issues. Born. And it's not until people get to talk and manifest their feelings and their thoughts that they begin to say something, but it's how you handle what they say that matters. I remember for myself, my son was in a school in Howell, New Jersey, where the teacher antagonized him, and he would come home every day and he would tell me, I don't think this teacher likes me. And he was like the only Black in the class. I'm not blaming it on black and white, but a fact is a fact, right? And then one day this teacher called me up and she said, you really need to communicate with his father. And I was like, what? And I was like, stay right there. I'm going to have a conversation with you face to face. And of course, this was pre-school shootings, right? So it meant nothing if an angry parent came into the school. Pre-school shootings. I don't know how they handle it now. But back then, there was no such thing as school shootings. And so there was no such thing as security guards and all that other stuff. But the principal was waiting for me. It was a Black woman. And I said to the principal, we all need to have a talk right now. And so she took me to the teacher, and the teacher explained to me that somehow the father was getting in the middle of this and was having separate conversations with her because he wanted to look like he was some angelic, dad, which he was. I don't even understand why he had to take from me. I've never put him down as a dad. He was always a good dad. But a good dad sometimes needs to always stand in front of the woman, right? And make sure everyone sees just him as a good dad. But I'm sorry, I was a good mom too, right? And so she pulls out a cartoon. And the cartoon, I don't know who was laying in the cartoon, but it was covered in red and the crayon was covered in black. And I looked at it, but because I'm a metaphysical person, I knew what he was displaying was anger. And so I looked at the principal and I told her, I was like, I know what this is. This is an angry child. He's actually been coming home and complaining every day. And I think he's at the point where he believes no one is listening. I'm listening today. Get my son out this class. And the principal was like, oh my God, I don't know if we could do. Oh, no. This is how we're going to do this. Get my son out this class. Because somewhere I knew this was never going to be good if I did not stick up for him. If I did not acknowledge that there was a mental health issue going on right now, and my son was in the 3rd grade. So I didn't send him back to school for a couple of days until I got what I wanted. And then the principal calls me. I'll never forget, I was working for Continental. And the principal calls me and she goes, it might have been younger than 1st grade. I don't know, it might have been the 2nd grade. Who cares now? And the principal calls me and the principal says, we are willing to switch him, but we want you to understand he'll be missing out on an experienced teacher. And I said to her, she is racist and she is making my child miserable. Move him. And then he wound up with a teacher that played basketball. And he was happy. and he thrived. And so there are so many signs that you and I aren't picking up on. So many things. Little things, big things. The one thing in my world, I can tell you is that there's a fine line between a metaphysical child, a metaphysical person, a metaphysical being, and mental illness. There's a fine line. And it's such a fine line that metaphysical people cannot go to someone and say, I saw fairies last night. In your dream? No, they were in my room. Because if you say something like that, you will be diagnosed some degree of schizophrenia automatically. So who do you get to talk to? When you're a metaphysical person that sees things. Because the normal world doesn't let this be a thing. But it's a whole thing. And one of the saddest things as adults, because I'm talking to a lot of adults, one of the saddest things is to hear my adults say, I felt all alone. I've been scared. You know, if I tell my family I'm entering the metaphysical world, you know, it's not religion. You're damn right it's not religion. Thank God. You know? But it's not crazy to be influenced by metaphysical unseen things that somebody else can see, you can't see. Things that you hear. So I'm not questioning I cannot question whether or not this is real or not real. I cannot question if she did it herself or somebody did it for her. I have to wait for something else to come through. But what I'd like to question is, why can't it be a metaphysical thing? Why could she have not seen things, heard things, and didn't know what to do with it or know where to go with it? Now, you guys know I'm here to help you navigate that world. I had to do it by myself. I had no friends to get me to understand, wait, what? What's happening? And yet I could tell Spirit never wanted me to lose my mind. And one of the things I can tell you is that I said to Spirit early on when I had a young child living with me, my son, Spirit used to enter the house. And I had to tell Spirit, if you keep entering, I don't know if there's a difference between you and a burglar. So I don't mind you coming in. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear you. And you better be of God. And they always respected that. Mental health is real, and mental health needs to be acknowledged. And metaphysical mental health, we're going to work on that, guys. We're going to work on our metaphysical mental health. Let's talk about mental health, people. That's what we need to focus on. By not talking about mental health, you don't acknowledge that the African American community has a problem. And that's what we're going to stick to. Today, we're going to talk about metaphysical mental health. Thank you, AB. AB says people need to change their views on the metaphysical because it's real and stop calling people crazy. Okay, I'm missing a whole lot of these conversations here, so let me just check out. Okay, let's get past the sound. Oh, good, you can hear me now. Greetings. Let's see if I can just. Thank you, Scars and Things. I appreciate that comment. My first thought came to mind was that she didn't, but it's hard to see this for some. If you're facing this, please seek help. Thank you. A weekly appointment with a therapist, a counselor, is beneficial. It doesn't even have to be anything psychiatrist, psychotherapist. Just speak with someone. And I love that you say that. That's where I ran my mouth. Talking about your problems is an amazing healing modality. Just talking about it. That's a good point. Let me see. I'm a therapist. I've seen an increase in depression and people lacking empathy and being mean to others in my office. Wow. Oh, wow. That's beautiful, AB. AB says my ex is a surgeon and he uses his gift to help his patients, but knows he would look crazy if he said he had a vision. I love that, though. Alicia, if you're entering the metaphysical world, I would say, do you really need to tell your family right now? Just enter without all that stuff that comes with it. Just come on board. You'll tell them when you're strong enough to tell them. I'm a clinician, says Ari. Hi, Ari. I also see the rise of antisocial personality disorder, an absolute lack of empathy and kindness towards others. Yeah, that's why the earth is elevating, and that's why the earth is kicking people off. Yeah, we have got to consider that kindness is one of the first things. And that's why those of you today, just today, that want to consider that it's anything other than suicide are being unkind. If something else comes through, let's discuss it then. But today, for you not to consider the possibility that it's suicide is you being unkind. We have to consider that she had mental illness. And you have to sit back and accept it until we hear something different. I'm on board with suicide because I know how fragile the mind is. And they made a point in the GMA where they were like, your brain is inside your body. So if my kidneys hurt, wouldn't I take care of it? If my knees hurt, wouldn't I take care of it? If I had cancer, wouldn't I take care of it? Why aren't we taking care of our mental health and getting help and helping our friends find counselors and therapists and supporting them? Like, oh my God, I'm so happy that you're doing this. I had a client text me the other day, and the first thing I said to her was, do you have a therapist? And she was like, yes. And then she went on to admit, which I was so proud of her. She was like, well, I haven't been there in a while. I was like, oh, let's go back. Let's go back. Therapy is not a one-time thing. Therapy it's like 3 months, and then you might stop because you might feel better. But when something triggers you, we got to go back to therapy. So we're going to focus on the kindness of considering that she had a mental health issue. I don't care about anyone's opinion that wants to see it otherwise. You're not being nice. We need to focus on one thing. It's generational trauma. Absolutely, Ari. Thank you. Oh, D, nice. I can imagine how sad you must have been for years, thinking you must have let your family down. But how are you doing today? Is the bigger question, right? I want to know, like, where you're at now. Well, Lottie, that's a good point. Sometimes there are situations where people who nobody is going to help. Sometimes someone can't find the right people to help with their particular problems. I agree. I mean, when my client came to me the other day, I felt helpless. But I always check with Spirit. And I was like, Spirit, what should I do? And I wanted to make sure, because it was late at night, so I wanted to make sure I wanted to make sure that my engagement was healthy for her too. And that's how I came up with, do you have a therapist? And then she explained that she did, but then she further explained that she hadn't been in a while. And I was like, okay, time to go back. And she said, yeah, it's time to go back. And I felt like I helped. Oh, thank you. D Nice did explain. My family has always supported me in every way, but I was very much down on myself and felt ashamed. No, society made you feel ashamed. Thankfully, I had a village around me. Ah, the key. But I also saw a therapist. Very helpful. Absolutely. Stop being mean, says AB, and start helping your neighbors with the basic rule we teach our kids. Each one teach one, especially in the Black community. Thank you, Just Ivory. Oh, my children are now grown. I'm 45. I'm beautiful. I'm smart. And I have really big hearts. My kids have also. Very proud of them. Oh, imagine making it through. That's such a beautiful thing. Coco Vixen, look at you. I have a therapist. I'm on medication, but it's still a struggle. Yes. Mental health is not a cure. But you know what's also not a cure? Addiction to food, alcohol addiction, drug addiction. Guys, think about it. None of this is a cure. It's the way we maintain. It's a lifestyle change for a lifetime. Oh, only Dawn, I'm missing something that you said before. Oh, wow. Look at everyone talking. Keep talking, guys. Maybe this is your only outlet. Keep talking. Only Amber says, I'm so blessed to have people around me after my mom passed in 2007. And my family rejected me. It got bad. But I never lost hope. I just shifted. Oh, child. My family thought I rejected her. But I was fresh out of college. And they wanted to put all the work on me. And I never rejected her. I was there. They just didn't want to do the work. Bingo. Mental health is real. You know how many families I've seen do that? Where they put all the burden on the family and there are siblings around. And so they guilt the children into taking care. And maybe the children are too young, but they guilt you. But they're the adults, but they guilt you. And you're forced to do something that you're not prepared for. And it's just so the adults, don't need to be bothered. You know how many clients I have like that? I'm sorry, sweetie. Cervical cancer is hard to deal with. But did I hear you say you shifted? Which is probably the most perfect thing that you could do. I don't understand that. That you're gonna have to explain a little bit more, because I don't understand how your aunt is your mama, because she raised you since you were 2, but was your mom there? I'm getting confused. And then you put, when you give a child away, my honor shifted to her. I'm so confused. So how did you come back into the picture and have to take care of her? A little confusing, Amber. Maybe a little confusing. So, because I'm not getting the whole picture. Your mom always had cervical cancer, but she gave you to your auntie? I'm a little confused. I'm trying. So your mom gave you to your auntie when you were 2. How old were you when she passed of cervical cancer? And I understand shifting, but you're 2. So of course you're going to see your aunt as your mom. I understand that. But if your mom was still living, okay. So your mom gave you to your aunt because she was ill? Was she mentally ill or was she physically ill? I just need to get this out. She's talking, so I just want to. I love when people give themselves the freedom to talk. But your birth mother is no longer living. Is that what I'm hearing? I'm so confused. I see. Is your birth mother living, sweetie? Sorry, guys. I really want to finish this. Is your birth mother living? Your birth mom is alive. Your aunt died in 2007. Okay, now I get it. I apologize for confusing you. No, it's okay. You know, I want you to reconsider the anger that you have for your mother. There could be circumstances where the aunt couldn't have children or wanted a little girl and may have convinced your mom that she was inadequate and would never be able to take care of you. Maybe they convinced your mom by not helping her until she was forced to give you up. Maybe you need to hear, as an adult woman, your mother's side of the story. Your aunt dying is a beast of burden because you have such loyalty to her. And so you're going to miss that side of the equation. But you might want to, oh yes, I believe she couldn't have children, so she wanted to have me. My birth mother had 2 kids. She told me why she gave me up. Bingo. So your aunt coerced your mother into giving you up. And you to this day revere your aunt. When your mother might have been going through something financially with 2 extra kids, and the aunt or aunts might have gotten together to help the one aunt that couldn't have children. I'm sorry, sweetie. I think you were a ping pong in an adult game. I think your mom is a victim. Thank you, beautiful conundrum. Well, Amber, you can't understand what was a blessing and what wasn't a blessing, though. Might have been a blessing because you ate all the time and you were clothed all the time. If that's the way a blessing can be perceived, I'll accept that for you. However, emotionally, these people have convinced you to hate your mother. So, you're standing on a rock in a hard place, and your mom is still alive. And I would think that maybe talking to a therapist about all this stuff, because there's some missing answers here. And no one's asking the right questions. I believe you were used as a pawn to allow the aunt to have a baby, which means they stole you from your mother. I think you can get some answers from your mom, but I do feel anger, so maybe wait on it, but I think something is really, really wrong in your family that they thought it was okay to steal you, to take care of one aunt because she couldn't have children. And I think that is what Spirit is telling me to tell you. And there's no forgiveness? Because what I'm trying to say is maybe even a birth mother didn't realize how manipulating her sisters were. All right. Very heavy. Okay. All right. I mean, I have to tell you, Amber, there's not a story anybody can tell me that I can't have the same story. And I have an adopted brother whose mom had kids before her, and she gave up the last 2, one being my adopted brother. We got him at 11 months. We loved him dearly. To this day, not love, past tense, but to this day, we love him dearly. We even love him over a brother from my DNA. Like, the brother from my DNA was kind of weird, right? The adopted brother was amazing. And then the COVID happened, and he pulled the ancestry DNA, and during the COVID, he found his mother. And he called her up, and he was like, I don't want anything from you. I just have been searching for you. But they met. He looks exactly like her. He's so happy he met his mother and all the other siblings. And she was the same thing. She said something about being on drugs and not being okay. And she was coerced into giving the last 2 up. Coerced by the city of New York. She was tricked. And when I heard that, I was mortified, completely mortified. And I learned this like 2 years ago, but, you know, and then there was another component, because it turns out that my brother and his original mother, my mother and his original mother had met. I guess she wanted to tell her that he was going to come to a good home. When in actuality, it wasn't a good home, but he was taken care of. That I have to admit, more than the original children from her, he was nurtured better than all of us. I have to admit, but it definitely wasn't a better home, by no means. And she told the same story. She told my brother, her son, that she was on drugs, and they convinced her, and she was like, maybe it is the best thing. And she gave away two of them, one being my brother. The other one doesn't really talk to her. And he found her too, and he doesn't talk to her. But my brother's happy. He's like, I found my mom. I'm like, go be with her. Go be happy. I'm so happy for him. And I kind of see him thriving differently now that he's in conversations with his mother. So, no, it does help, Amber. It does help. I'm just going to ask if, maybe continuous therapy, but I'm so glad that you forgave her, right? I just think that the women in your family might have did a little bit of a disservice. Okay, good. Amber says, I have therapists and I've healed. Okay. All right. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you, Doris. These conversations are needed, right? Oh, D Nice, you're quite welcome. She says, I want to thank you for having these types of discussions. I appreciate you. Thank you. A good talking to from Miss Tracy is like years of therapy. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I think you can call me, but I think you should have a therapist too. Yes, this is why we should treat each other with love and compassion. Just never know what someone's going through or where they've been. I pray for peace for everyone here in this chat and the world. Thank you. Oh, Melody. No, I love doing this kind of stuff. I just wanted to do it from a metaphysical place, right? And I wanted to be fair to the young lady that passed, Cheslie, guys, I'm so bad at names. Cheslie Kryst. I just wanted to treat her with dignity. All right? Which is why I'm not going to discuss anything other than suicide. And in the Black community is a growing problem. We had Simone Biles that was at the Olympics. We have our girl, the little tennis player. I don't know who she is. What's her name? I love her. Who's the little tennis player? And she just quit. I love the power and dignity of that little tennis player. What's her name? I think even didn't Serena Williams say something as of recently? Maybe I'm wrong. But I do want to tell you that it is a growing problem that we've never been able to acknowledge. Mental health. From the time we were taken in Africa, the mental health began from the time we were taken in Africa. You had to wait 3 months in a black hole for the boat to come back. 3 months. Chained, urinating, and defecating on yourself. How anyone survived. How did we survive? Mental health began when we were stolen. Get you out of here. Naomi Osaka. Oh my God, I love her. Soul nourishment is often forgotten. This is therapy. Go hand in hand. Yes. Um, there is something quick that is happening in the Black community. Something very quick. And notice this particular card. This is the Eight of Wands, right? In other decks, it doesn't look like this. In this deck, look, it's focused on the brain. Look, it's focused on the brain. There's a growing movement to handle our mental health in the Black community. I promise you, we are going to start talking more about it because we are starting to want to heal. We don't want the continuous of suicides. We just had Regina King's son also commit suicide. Alan, whew. I was ignoring them, but I appreciate what you're saying. Island Dreamer. Island Dreamer said, trolls keep forgetting we block people on here. Tracey doesn't need clout when she has spirit. Period. Period. And the Black community needs my help, needs your help, needs therapists. I also think that there's going to be a rise in metaphysical therapists because we are entering in a world where a lot of people are going to start seeing things, and it's going to drive the world in a tizzy, not just Black folks. We're entering into a metaphysical realm. You're going to start seeing things. And there is going to be a category for metaphysical therapy. There is a mental health crisis. Terica, your therapist is metaphysical? Oh my God, this is going to be a growing pattern to find a metaphysical therapist. Thank you, Ari. Even Janet Jackson spoke of depression. Thank you. I'm also getting, I know you guys aren't getting this with me, but I'm also getting that companies are going to start advertising from a depressed state of nourishment, right? Like, instead of Dove soap telling us how clean we need to be, I feel like Dove soap is going to start saying, relax your mind and soak in Dove soap to revitalize your mind. Do you understand? I feel like regular companies are gonna start acknowledging, how do we tell a story from a metaphysical place? If anybody needs a therapist in Houston, yeah, contact me. I'll put you in touch with Terica. The eclectic energy and galactic energy, I always see this as beam me up, Scotty, is gonna become bigger. So mental health is gonna be an issue And it's gonna be frantic if we don't deal with it. And when I say deal with it, I mean, let's talk about it and let's not call people crazy. Because in actuality, in the metaphysical world, nothing's crazy. We just kind of go, wait, what happened? And we let them explain again. And then it's like, oh my God, that is so fascinating. You know what happens? Somebody will tell a story in our group, and my phone or YouTube will pick up on the same type of story. And that's the metaphysical world saying, this is what she's talking about, Tracey. And I'm like, oh my God. Right? But we support each other. And then I'll take the article, take the video, and I'll post it to the group. And I'll tag the person to let the person know, well, guess what came up on my feed today? And in actuality, we're a very healthy group. And we're very healthy because we believe in fairies, unicorns, angels. Angels are probably everybody's favorite. Archangels are big. We believe in luminaries, the lost city of Atlantis. You know, I read in Revelations, please join me in Revelations. If you all can't believe the metaphysical world, then come join me on Revelations. When God was like, he sent an angel down dressed in a cloud. Dressed in a cloud. And I was like, oh my God, what are you talking about, God? So now I'm looking at these clouds a little side-eye. Now I'm like, you clouds are beautiful, but there might be an angel up in there, and that angel was sent down to annihilate. Right. Come join me on Revelations, everyone. I need you to come over to YouTube, because anything past an hour, they kind of don't let me post. So who's ever here, come over to YouTube. Let's finish this conversation up, please. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for letting me talk about suicide. Please text 74174. No, please text talk 741-741 talk at 741-741 if you're having any thoughts of any kind and you just want to talk. Text 741-741 talk. All right? And the hotline, suicide prevention hotline is, now they show me St. Croix. Oh my God. I hope I can get this in time. 1-800-273-8255. Come on over to YouTube so we can finish this up. Thank you guys, and thank you for letting me do this. Oh, child. I don't know what that means. You have the right to request mental health outpatient services. No, if you have insurance, check the back of your card. The back of your card states mental health. Wait, you have the right to request mental health outpatient services outside of Virginia? Get rid of this. VA is different, Miss Tracey. Got it. Okay, so I don't know what you say when you say outside of VA. Veteran Affairs. Oh, of course that's different. I thought you meant Virginia. You got to spell it out for me, girl. I thought you meant Virginia. Well, the VA, I question how much I'm sorry, but I question how much the VA cares. A lot of your mental illness was caused by the armed services. So I question how much they invest in your healing after you went in normal and you're coming out not okay. That's just me. I don't care who doesn't like what I said. I said it. I think people go in without a problem, they come out batshit crazy. And then you look for the person that caused the problem to fix you. Just throwing my hands up. I'm just saying, I'm sticking to it. Do you guys agree? You went in normal? All right. Yeah. All right. So I definitely see there's going to be more focus on children getting help and not labeling them crazy, but seriously, there are many counselors in school, right? But I'm missing the part where children can actually go for counseling. I'm missing that part. I feel like counseling is constantly tied into education, but how can you be educated if you're having problems at home? Girl, Ari, I already know how toxic it is. I'm not trying to put the government down, but I know. There are just things that I know. Ciao. All right. So there's going to be some global changes, authentic global changes, to look at mental health. Commercials, children, and I forgot the star one. Commercials, maybe the star one was, and corporations. We're going to start looking at selling your products from your mental capacity position. There are 116 people here. Please press the like button, especially for this topic. I would be honored if you would press the like button for this topic. So let's be patient with what mental health looks like. All right. Also, let's be patient with how mental health can be manipulated onto you. There's so many factors here that it's not even funny. So many factors. So let's be kind, let's be patient, let's talk to one another with kindness. Let's say to one another, you need to talk about something? And fucking listen. Listen. No one's asking you to solve it, right? That's been one of the biggest things I see constantly. People want to talk over you when people just want to be heard. I even get it in my group, and maybe I should talk about it tomorrow. Stop trying to fix it and put a Band-Aid over something. Let people talk. All right? Oh, and to end this, perfect timing. This is one of the candles that's coming in the package, and this one is for healing. And you pray for that part of the healing that you need. And if it's mental health, let's start praying for ourselves. All right? Let's start talking about healing. What difference does it make if you have an education, if your mental health is not there? Think about it. By the way, these smell so good. Oh my God, it smells so good. It smells so good. Healing. How pretty is that, guys? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect timing. All right, guys. I love you all so much. I thank you for putting up with me. I thank you for letting me talk. I am not educated. I care. And I think that makes a big difference. What do you think? I think it does. All right, guys. I love you. And I'll see you for dashikis and bonnets. I kind of can't wait to order. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Oh. I can't wait for you guys to order either. I'm so proud of the metaphysical qualities that I've put into this. Even look at the container. Even the container are all about horoscopes. Nothing has been not considered. All right, guys, take it easy. Thanks for caring. You're welcome. You're quite welcome. Thank you, Lottie. Thank you. I love you too. You're always dedicated, no matter what the topic, Lottie. You just sit in it and just let me rant, and you let me do that. And I'm really proud of you for sitting in sometimes, you know, what I need to say. Oh, thank you, Miss Skyrain. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Wait, is that Beautiful Conundrum? I forgot. It's Beautiful Conundrum. D Nice said she'll support me. I'm going to honor. But can I tell you something? You guys are really going to support yourselves, right? This one, you're getting one of each. This one is for your health. There's going to be one for money, and there's going to be one for power and success. Those are the three versions I'm putting out right now. So you guys are really going to be supporting you, your mental health, your physical health, your healing, right? Your healing, right? Yeah. It's like mesmerizing. I must get a candle. I must get that candle, Tracy. I got you. That's what you're saying. It's on my iPad. I got you. It just dawned on me what your name was. Health is wealth. Bingo. Health is wealth. Thank you. Thank you. It's an afro. All right, let me get up out of here. Some people are pre-ordering this week. So you can, you can pre-order this week, but the real date to start selling is the 7th. But anytime after the 3rd, so from the 4th on. But the real day to sell is gonna be on the 7th. Pretty as an art picture. Thank you, Lottie. Thank you. All right, get out of here, guys. I love candles, especially meaningful ones. Yes. Yes. So, look out for my advertisements, because as I'm showing you, the container was one picture, and today I'm showing you the healing ones. Tomorrow I'll show you the money ones, and then I'll show you the package of herbs and crystals that will also come with it, and a prayer. All right. Yeah, just text me. Actually, no, TraceyBrownlive@gmail. Go to TraceyBrownlive@gmail. Let me see if I can find it here. I stopped using the TraceyBrownlive@gmail. TraceyBrownlive@gmail. If you go to TraceyBrownlive.com, email me. Don't text me. Email me. For the candles, email me. I need information from you. All right, so let's not make this like fast and swift. Let's be responsible. Email me. Let me send you the information. I'm getting my trademark taken care of, so I don't want to use the name right now until I know I safely have the trademark. All right. So email me, TraceyBrownlive@gmail. All right. So excited, guys. I love you. Take it easy. Bye.